Next one, sales workings, right? Nice simple one. I just want a chart and a card visual showing me my total sales. So click in this cell, insert pivot table, click OK. In my rows is going to be customer city. Put that in there, customer city. And in my values, I want sales amount, the dollar value. Again, don't just simply drag that in, write a measure for everything. Honestly, you'll thank yourself. I'll do it this way this time. Right click, add a measure rather than going to the Power Pivot tab. So add measure. Okay, in here, again, I'm just going to type into this box. The box looks the same, but it's not the same, right? The other box is better. This is going to be called sales dollar, and it's simply the sum. And let me show you one of the bugs that really annoy me. Sum, open the bracket, I'm zooming in, okay? And then I'm going to do the sales amount column. Don't ever click on that, the little bracket. Always click on the sales data, sales amount column. When I double click, the zoom goes, which is one of the annoyances. There's also no color coding on this version of the box. Weird that they're different, but they are. Okay, so there's my DAX. Again, this session isn't about DAX or anything. There's other sessions in this summit about that. I'll go whole number again. If you're forecasting it, presenting at decimal point, if decisions in your business are being made based on decimal numbers, then okay, fair enough. Click OK. Right, so here's my sales dollar, put it in there. Awesome. And all I'm going to do now is create a little pivot table, a pivot chart, sorry. So in the pivot table, go to pivot table, analyze, pivot chart. Okay. Sideways on, bar chart. Whenever you're presenting text, okay, let me click OK. Whenever you're presenting text, present it as a bar chart, a horizontal one. Don't do the slanted lines. In a column chart is for date series, years, months, age, buckets, whatever it is, something numbers that go left to right. Any other chart, go for the simple bar chart. It's understated, but it's the best you can use. Okay, again, I am going to make this, get rid of these and hide all the buttons, delete things, get rid of clutter. So click on the line, press delete, click on the axis, press delete, click on the legend, press delete, and so on and so on. Right click on the bars, add data labels. Okay, don't make people look up and down the axis, give them the numbers, and then sort it to make it easy to understand. So right click on your pivot table, sort, do the inverse of how you want your chart to look. So I want to sort smallest to largest in my pivot. My chart sorts largest to smallest. It's weird, that's the way it works. Okay, and this is just sales dollar. And again, you know, I've got one that I prepared earlier with rounded corners. You know, you can go border, scroll down, rounded corners and stuff. You can right click, change chart type, templates. There's a nice one, you know, bit thicker, slightly different font, but you get the idea. Okay, lovely. And then again, the sales total is just going to be equals this grand total. Perfect. I'm just going to make that a dollar with 0 decimals. Name this Control Shift F3, that's sales total. Click OK, all good. So cut and paste this onto my dashboard. There we go, it's over here. And close that down a minute. So we're over here, copy and paste. Actually, little tip, dragging shapes, okay? Hold down Control, start dragging and make a copy, but it's, you know, it's out of line. Hold Shift at the same time. Watch this. As soon as I press Shift, lines up perfectly and I can't move it out the way. Okay, it's always going to be in line. Control and Shift to make a copy of a shape or a chart or anything else. Beautiful. Okay, this is going to be called sales total. Enter. Annoyingly, the formatting disappears. I'll just use my format painter to reapply it. Make this a bit wider because it's a wider number. Make this the same sort of blue as the chart. You would add titles. Okay, add titles to your cards. You just insert a text box and write the name. It's easy. And there we go. Okay, again, clicking on this does not impact that chart. Okay, they're not linked. So you can do this another way. You can click on the chart and link slices to it rather than clicking on the slicer and linking it to the chart. So you can do it both ways. So click on the chart, go to Pivot Table Analyze, and at the top here, you have Filter Connections. Okay, click on Filter Connections, tick on Customer Name, tick on Year. That's those two slicers. And now this slicer is connected to that one. and also should be connected to this one. Yeah, so everything's nice and interactive, which is awesome. Okay, all good. Okay, so last little thing on here, and probably the fanciest bit of this demo, is how to get fancy little drop downs, icons that can show me out of strength out of 5, how strong is the coffee. Okay, drop downs that impact pivot tables, and I'll put that in double quotes. Let's give this a go. Okay, so the first one, I need the product name as a drop down. So I'm going to go insert pivot table, click OK, go to my product table, put the product name in. Okay, there's my products. Right click, remove the grand total. So I've got the product names, okay, but I want a drop down box, and I don't want to be able to have to refer to this. This list might get bigger. When you build stuff, you really need to consider what's going to happen when the data updates and new products get added. Okay, take a little bit more time to make it robust. So I'm going to use the dynamic array filter function. So equals filter and highlight from here down to here. But really, I'd probably go to row 200 or something. I'll do it now, 200. There we go. Okay, filter that where it isn't empty. So I'll go from here to here again, type 200, doesn't equal blank. There's my dynamic list. Okay, and if this gets bigger, like if there is a new, when I refresh next week, see it automatically pops up, or even if it popped up down here, it gets rid of the blanks. Okay, so nice little option. So here's my little list, named range. You can't really do the Control-Shift F3 with a dynamic array, because I want to be able to refer to equals. I want the name to refer to this, which is E8 hash. Okay, that's the dynamic array reference, E8 hash. So here we go. We're going to go click on here, formula, define name. And I'm clicked on DD product list. Okay, define name, puts the name in there. Click on this, go to the first cell, put a hash on the end, click enter. Sorry if that's a bit small. Okay, click OK. And now if I do equals DD product list, it's referring to the dynamic array. So I can put that in a drop down. So data validation, go for list, and you refer to DD product list. But if you can't remember, I always forget within 5 seconds, press F3 in this little box. Okay, when you're in this box, go F3. So F3 brings up DD product list, click OK. And now this box has got a nice navigatable drop-down box. This is the drop-down box I'm going to use over here. I'm going to name it, again, name it. So home, named range, Control-Shift F3, top row, beautiful. Okay, all good. So we're set up with our drop-down. Next thing, the strength out of 5 using emojis, all right? So strength scale. Here we go. We are going to insert a pivot table. Okay, so insert pivot table using the workbook's data model. And I'm just getting nervous, so I'm clicking save. Okay, so here we are. We're in the data model. I want to bring in product. So over here, I want to put in the product name. So product name goes in the rows there. Okay, and the strength. So the coffee strength is here. I really should do a measure, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to be lazy and drag it in. Okay, so there's the sum of strength. I can right click and remove the grand total. So there's my pivot table. Okay, but I want this drop down to influence this pivot table. You can't do that. Okay, a drop down box, a slicer can influence a pivot table, but a drop down box can't. However, if I turn my pivot table into formulas, I can then reference this. And this is the clever bit, cube formulas. So click inside your pivot table, go to Pivot Table Analyze, and up the top under OLAP Tools, which is a very strange name, there's this Convert to Formulas option. Okay, so I can't zoom in with that there. Convert to Formulas. And these are now formulas. Look, cube member, cube value. Okay, these are actually formulas, which is great. So what I just want that top one. Okay, that's the top one. I just need that. Let me just make that a bit wider. So this isn't simply that. I can't simply go equals and click on this. It just doesn't work, all right? It needs this bit, this cube member, this workbook data model, this stuff, product table, product name, and then here comes the product name in there. So we need to recreate this little bit. So this is what we do. I've broken it down already just to save time. I've got the product table name, the first bracket. This is where I'll put the product from the drop down, and then that's the close bracket. So I simply go equals and go and select this. That's my sort of dynamic part. I'm just going to join those 4 parts together using text join with no delimiter. Just highlight the 4 bits. Okay, so there's the actual code I need. And I put that, I'll make this yellow so it's obvious I'm changing it. I put that where this double quote part is. Okay, so get rid of that double quote part, click on that, and now we've got, check this out, that 2 will change when I pick maybe the reboot, which is a really strong coffee strength 5. Okay, so this is now controlling data coming from my data model, but in a nice interactive way.